Hey everyone, Felipe here. Welcome to another Tower of Saviors card review video. In this video, I'll be taking a look at one of the non-jackbook cards, Final Bronze Cloth of Cygnus, Hyoga. I will be taking a look at the leader skill, team skills, as well as the active skills and letting you know my thoughts and opinions about this card. So without further ado, let's get started with his leader skill. Hyoga is going to be a water human and has the following leader skill. When the team has only water or Athena, the goddess of war and wisdom in the team, you will get a times 5 team attack boost and an HP and recovery boost of 1.2 times. Additionally, extend runestone movement time by 1 second, and the attack of Saints increases by 3 times. Additionally, Heart Runes also possess 50% of attribute of runestones, and Water and Earth Runes will possess 50% the effect of each other. This is going to be exactly the same team's or leader skill as Shiryu, so these two can be run in parallel. That can also be seen on the team skill where he does acquire the 8th sense, which is going to be standard for a leader skill of the Saint Seiya Hades chapter collaboration seal, and in my opinion is a really good craft skill. But the second skill will allow you to get the effect if you're running either Shiryu or Hyoga as leader and ally. And they share the same team skill where you get a team attack times 5 if you dissolve either all earth runes in the first batch or all water runes in the first batch. Additionally, by dissolving all heart runes, you do get an extra attack of 50% of your own attack. Additionally, you do still get the stat boost effect from running a Saint Seiya, Hyoga, Shiryu, Ikki, or Shun. With the others as team members, you do get the stat boost of 1.2 and get additionally runestone movement time of 12 seconds. But yeah, so in my opinion, this is going to be basically the same as Shiryu. His leader potential is going to be pretty limited, especially if you are unable to satisfy the first batch earth or water dissolving skill, your damage will be very lackluster. And because they don't really have any ways of generating earth runes or water runes, it is going to be pretty limited and there might be runestone drought and you won't be able to launch that extra times 5 attack boost for your teams. So in my opinion, these two cards or Hyoga and Shiryu as leaders are going to be pretty limited. However, they will be pretty useful to clear early to mid game content. So if you don't have, or if you're just starting, these could be potentially some good leaders for you, but they're nothing too uh, impressive, and you might be better off getting like a jackpot card or a black gold card for to help you with late game content and newer ultimate stages and nightmare stages. But yeah, given that he doesn't have that much potential as a leader, let's take a look at his active skills. So his first active skill is a CD6 skill and has the following effect. Explode frozen runestones and tap a runestone to turn its column and row into water runes. For one round, the character launches 4 extra water attacks. This is going to be at 100% of its own attack. So exploding frozen runes is going to be really useful, especially if the enemy freezes the runestones completely from the get-go. So normally frozen runes, you have one turn to dissolve them, and if not, they get frozen for 3 rounds. However, there are some enemies that will instantly freeze them and you will not be able to dissolve them. So being able to explode them is going to be really useful, but it is, in my opinion, going to be really situational because Madhead doesn't introduce frozen runes that often into the game. However, just by having this card, you can have a guarantee or the just in case card if you need to encounter those enemy skills that freeze your entire board from the get-go. TD6 is going to be pretty fast, so you will be able to activate it pretty soon after you enter the stage and get rid or counter these enemy skills easily. Then the two other effects are just going to be standard damage boosting effects. You do generate more attacking runes, which is going to be really good. You will be generating 10 enchanted water runes, which will boost your attack by quite a bit because this is going to be quite a significant amount of attacking runes. And you are launching 4 extra attacks, which means that you will be dealing more damage as well and potentially killing the enemy easier. In my opinion, this active skill CD6 is going to be pretty good, but their use might be a little bit more limited based on the enemies that you encounter and if you need to explode frozen runes or not. For his second team skill, or for his second active skill, this is going to be your switching skill, which means that it is going to be a standard CD8 skill. This skill can only be activated if you have the Cygnus God Cloth in Dragonware equipped to Hyoga. And the effect that you get is, well, switching skill, modify the column below each human and beast into race runes of that race, and turn water and heart runes into enchanted runes into enchanted runes. And for 2 rounds, the team will not be poisoned. In my opinion, this is actually a pretty good skill, or a pretty good switching skill as well, because of the fourth effect. The first effect, switching, pretty standard. Second effect, generating race runes will boost your attack by a little bit, but it's not anything too broken. And turning water and heart runes into enchanted runes will also increase your attack a little bit, but also nothing too broken. However, for 2 rounds, you will not be poisoned, and this is going to be pretty useful because there are enemies that will poison you by quite a lot, like 80% or 90%, which means that those poisoning enemies can usually kill you in one shot, even if their attack is very little. Additionally, if your recovery is very low and you're not able to recover, that 90% poison can kill you on the second round because you're not at full HP. So being able to ignore poison is going to be pretty situational. There haven't been that many enemies that poison you, but being able to ignore it is going to be really it's going to be pretty easy. And the ways of getting rid of poison aren't that many in the game. You have certain cards that can ignore poison, but you are usually not able to remove the poison via effects because it is typically an enemy skill rather than an additional effect on the board. So definitely you do need to, the only ways to get past of those enemies is either kill the enemy fast or ignore your poison damage, which if you have 2 rounds of poison ignoring, it is going to be really useful against those certain types of enemies. Just keep in mind that the only downside to this skill is that it is a switching skill, so once you use it once, the form is switched and you will not be able to access this active skill again, which means that you will only be able to ignore poison once, and if you mistime it, it could potentially come back and bite you in the butt later on if you end up encountering another poisoning enemy. But yeah, however, 2 rounds of poison ignoring, in my opinion, is going to be really useful and definitely worth having the God Cloth and having Hyoga for that in case you encounter one of those annoying enemies. After switching, we do get the same effect as Shiryu, where your leader skill increases from ×5 team attack to ×6, which is a nice increase but not significant, which means that his leader potential will still remain a little bit limited after switching. So because of that, let's just take a look at his active skills. The first skill is EP7, and it is going to be a straight upgrade from his first active skill. You do still explode all frozen runes. However, if you explode frozen runes, your EP will increase by 2, which will allow you to activate your skills faster and more. Activate your skills faster and quicker, and also have access to more burst options or exploding effects if needed. So this is going to be really useful against enemies that generate frozen runes every round because you can keep exploding them and generating more EP. And this way, I don't know, it will be pretty easy for you to build up EP. However, you are expending 7 EP. In order for that, however, getting 2 extra EP is going to be really useful since you can usually only get 1 EP. So this will allow you to activate your skills faster. Additionally, tap a runestone to turn its column and row into enchanted human runes, so this time you do get that human addition to it, which will increase your attack by a little bit and going to be really useful as well. And then the character launches 3 extra water attacks and 3 extra fire attacks, so you go up from launching 4 attacks into a total of 6 attacks, and 3 of them are water and 3 of them are fire. So in my opinion, this skill is going to be a straight upgrade from his original active skill, and however, it is still pretty situational and also a pretty good attack booster because you are generating enchanted human water runes, which will be a really good batch of attacking runes, and you're also launching 6 extra attacks at 100% of your own attack, which is also going to be really pretty good in terms of dealing damage to the enemy. For the second EP skill, we have an EP8 skill, Aurora Execution, which allows you to explode the columns below the character and neighboring members to generate enchanted water and enchanted heart runes at fixed numbers and fixed positions. And this is going to be really useful because it allows you to not have to worry about spinning because the arrangement is already set. So that will allow you to have an easier time spinning as well. Second one is freeze all enemies and change their attributes into water for 2 rounds. And for 1 round, your team attack increases by 2, and water runes can be dissolved singly or in groups of 2 or more in the first batch. So this is also going to be a really good attack boosting skill. First of all, you are generating a lot of water runes and heart runes, and you are able to dissolve water runes singly or in groups of 2, which allows you to get rid of all water runes on the board and also use all of them as attacking runes as well. Furthermore, you get a ×2 team attack, which boosts your entire team. So if you have a burst option card in your team, they will also benefit from this attack boost and kill the enemy faster. Additionally, in terms of utility, this card also inactivates, or not inactivate, this card also freezes enemies for 2 rounds and changes their attribute into water. So this will help you against enemies that need to be frozen, like a freeze shield or controlling shield, and also against enemies that need to be changed attribute in order to deal damage. So this card also has that utility inbuilt where you can freeze and change the enemy's attribute as well. So in my opinion, this second EP skill has a lot of flexibility in terms of damage dealing as well as utility, and definitely worth having in your team just in case, because it can be really useful. That being said, it is not broken, so there are many other cards that can be replaced or that can replace this card. However, given that this card has dual active skills and also switching potential, means they have a lot of flexibility in terms of active skills and activation order and things like that. So definitely it is good to have in your teams because you have all those options to use in a team basically. But yeah, team skills, team skills. So yeah, that is going to be the active skills, team skills, and leader skills of Cygnus Hyoga. In my opinion, his active skills are pretty useful, although they are quite situational. You do counter frozen runes and also counter freezing shields. However, you don't have many more utilities. It is mostly just a raw damage increase by generating more attacking runes and also race runes as well, and also launching extra attacks. So in my opinion, Hyoga is going to be a good attack booster in terms of just generating attacking runes rather than increasing your team attack. However, his second EP skill will increase your entire team's attack, but in my opinion, there are other cards that can do better in terms of attack boosting just by the sheer multipliers that they give you or the shields that they break as well. Hyoga does lack the ability to ignore enemy shields, so you might want to be running more utility in your teams instead of a straight up raw attack booster like Hyoga. However, if you do encounter frozen runes at a increased rate, then having Hyoga in your team can be really useful because he can explode those frozen runes for you. In terms of team building, I do think there are a lot of water cards that can replace him. But if you are running say, a Saint Seiya Hades chapter collaboration team, you do benefit from having Hyoga in your team for that 1.2 attack boost, as well as the combined skill that you might get with the God Cloth members. But yeah, that is all I had to say about this card. Please let me know in the comments if I said anything wrong or if I missed anything. And as always, stay tuned on my YouTube channel for more Tower of Saviors content. For now, stay safe, stay healthy, and I will see you next time. Bye everyone!